What an amazing chapter of One Piece this was. Oh my, so much information, different locations explored, different things. We got answers to a lot of things. A lot of it was actually, we kind of already inferred it from a lot of fan speculation. So a lot of it was kind of like answers that we thought we were going to get, but now it's kind of like, okay, it's confirmed now. We open up with this great color spread that is koala themed, and we see Sanji cooking aboard the roller coaster, which is a very big point that Oda wanted to emphasize in this chapter about how he is important to the crew as a cook and that he only cooks for his friends. So right from the start, we can pretty much assume that food and cooking are going to be a very, very big theme of this Whole Cake Island arc. The ethics of cooking, the ethics of feeding one another and eating and all that stuff, I think that's going to be heavily incorporated into this arc. We start off at the Sunny, and Luffy's wearing a chef hat because remember he said he wanted to cook. So he gets shown the picture of Dragon on the newspaper, and this is kind of like an ongoing gag between Luffy and Dragon that whenever they're mentioned to each other, they just don't care. Like, it's just like, oh, that's my dad? Cool. I'm worried about Sabo. This guy looks nothing like me. Who the fuck is he? I don't care. Where is Sabo? And no, but there's something really weird because Brooke says, well, a picture is not enough for you to, understand what his presence is like. I'm like, Brooke, did you meet Dragon? I mean, we know Robin met him, but Brooke has been hiding a lot of shit if this is true. He knows the Vince smokes, and now it looks like there are clues to him knowing Dragon sometime during his past. That being said, I like the dynamic here because, they're reading the news, but behind that, in the background, there's two things going on. Carrot is constantly munching on Luffy, and Chopper is going crazy trying to warn Luffy about something. It's just amazing how Oda can just juggle, especially in a manga, how he can juggle all these dynamics, all these character dynamics in one sequence. There's so much going on. These panels are packed, son. So what happened, we understand what happened now, is that the Blackbeard pirates arrived at Baltigo. They destroyed the headquarters, the place. Note that I'm saying the place, not the people, all right? And then the Marines arrived, which makes sense because they're the ones who report on stuff. They're the ones who take the pictures. But they came in with Cipher Pole, and we don't know what unit of Cipher Pole it was. Like the manga, the translation I read just said Cipher Pole. And it's interesting because after that, after they arrived, the place had already been destroyed, but then Blackbeard left after having a brief confrontation with Cipher Pole. So I'm like, are you afraid of the CP? Blackbeard, what's going on there? I'm assuming in this case it was ZP0 because they're the ones who were looking for the revolutionaries in Dressrosa, try to get a lead on them. But then I think what happened is, so Burgess told Blackbeard to come get him or whatever, and then I'm assuming the Blackbeard pirates told the Marines about this, like, yeah, we know where, Revolutionary HQ is, but I don't think that Blackbeard anticipated the fact that Cipher Pole was going to go in there as well. He wanted the Marines there, but he didn't want CP0 there. And which kind of makes sense because, like, the CP unit, at least CP0, we learned in one of the previous chapters, actually, after Dressrosa, that they're kind of the puppets of the Celestial Dragons. And remember, Blackbeard, Marshal D Teach is a D, and the Celestial Dragons and the Ds are just, they're destined to clash. They hate each other. There's a history of problems with them. So that makes sense in that regard. That being said, Luffy burns the kitchen. That's what Chopper was warning him about, or at least trying to anyway. And it's just hilarious. And the conclusion for the news article is basically the conclusion that I came up with in my previous review, which is that if somebody major from the revolutionaries had been killed or captured, it would have been on the news instead of just Baltigo in ruins. So it's very likely that the revolutionaries ended up escaping, because the Marines wouldn't want to report on that. Oh, they got away. No, that wouldn't be in the news. That would be an embarrassment for the Marines. So the kitchen is burning. At one point, I think it even explodes or something. There's like a gas leak or something. Just fucking explodes. There's a thunderstorm, and Carrot is going crazy, just pulling her ears like, what is this? Oh, I've never seen one of those. Oh, that's crazy. Oh, man, Carrot for Nakama. Great dynamic with the crew. The comedy in this chapter was just gold. Oh my gosh. When Luffy's like, oh wait, what about the fire? Nami's like, oh, the storm will put it out. Awesome. Like, oh, no, you still burn the kitchen, idiot. Anyway, we shift over to Zoe, and we find out that the way that Carrot was able to leave Zoe was by bribing Barriete or the little monkey who's a lookout, who's not really that much of a lookout. But yeah, and she gave him like 2 bananas. That's how much Barriete is worth. Just 2 bananas, and you can buy his silence. Now, there's a very important point brought up in this little section of the chapter, which is that Inuarashi says somebody has a Vivre card to Zoe, which means that there's a traitor in Zoe. There's got to be somebody aboard the elephant that has a Vivre card that is leading whoever is coming. I mean, in this case, it would be a Pooh, I'm assuming, who's coming in. But somebody gave that to somebody else, or somebody is in Zoe, okay, leading outsiders into it. So who do you think the traitor is that's leading people into Zoe? At first I thought that maybe Apu has like an awakened, his paramecia, and so what happens is that he's really sensitive to sound waves so that he can find people through their voices, kind of like Superman, like super hearing, but that's just a crazy theory of mine. Anyway, then we get a panel, and this is the first like, okay, what the fuck? We see Jack, who we know is an established devil fruit user, a Zoan, a mammoth. He is like, well, he's not floating underwater, that makes no sense, but he is underwater and he's still alive. And so at first I was like, wait, what the, this makes no sense, what the fuck? And then it clicked, because I do remember that when Sunisha attacked him and broke his mask, a lot of people were saying, look at his teeth, look at Jack's teeth. They kind of look a little bit like Hody Jones. So could it be possible, and this is why it clicked to me, could it be possible that Jack is part fishman, and that the reason why he doesn't drown exactly is because of something to do with his fishman genetics? That being said, that also may explain why his bounty is so freaking high. It's because he's one of the few, if not the only, devil fruit users alive that doesn't completely drown when he's in the water. Anyway, we go to Wano after that, and we go to that island where we've seen Drake before, and instead we get to see Kaido there, alright? He's getting drunk, drinking sake up the ass. He's also crying. And so what happens in this chapter is something very interesting, which is that Kaido is a lot less, covered in mystery after this chapter now. We get to see more of his personality, what he's like, how it is that he talks to his subordinates and all that stuff. So in a way, at first, I thought the introduction of his personality kind of made him seem a little bit less intimidating, but not really. Because if you just keep reading, he's like, look, this is the thing that just blew my mind. He says, poor Joker, you just happen to be too damn weak. That's Doflamingo, and he's calling him a scrub. He's like, this piece of shit, good for nothing. Too damn weak. You know you're fucking powerful when you're calling somebody like Dofi too damn weak. And then when he uses his club, alright, to send his subordinates flying, I'm like, did you just break the sky? What happened there? Because you see some rocks. I'm assuming it's ice. So what I think is going on is that, it's an island that is covered by a dome of ice, and I think he broke through that. That's just my assumption, though. I don't know. What do you think? Did you understand that image, that panel? Now he's pissed. He's got nuts. Totally freaking mad. He's mad, bro. He's mad. I'm mad, bro. That's what he's telling people. I'm mad because little Luffy and little Trafalgar Law, Serpent of Death motherfuckers, this duo from the worst generation, they took down a couple of Shichibukai and now they think they're hot shit. Well, let me remind you what I did to the last person that thought they were hot shit from the worst generation. Oh, kid! Rumors were true. The One Piece community fandom, they already knew that it was Kid behind the bars. All right, I'm assuming those are wooden bars because that, metal bars wouldn't be able to hold the Kid. And he's just covered in blood. He got wrecked. It's nasty looking. I'm kind of wondering if he lost his other good arm. It's a bad situation for Kid to be in. I do not, however, see Hawkins nor Killer there. I still wonder what happened with them. Killer doesn't seem like the type of person who would betray his captain. But man, Kid really got fucked up. I don't know why Kaido just didn't kill him. It was probably like, your punishment must be much more severe. Cut back to the Sunny again. Luffy is wearing kind of like an outfit that reminds me of his Punk Hazard outfit. He said he was going to cook. Obviously, we all knew that this was just going to be a complete disaster. Not only is Luffy's food just pretty much garbage, because it's a combination of raw materials and just a mixture of shit, but he also uses up all the food. And I love this quote here, this box that says, and thus Luffy and his friends found themselves face to face with starvation. Now, they are getting close to Whole Cake Island because we see the snow falling. Later on, we find out that it's actually cotton candy that's falling. So they're probably going to eat the cotton candy. Chopper's going to have a field day with this. We go to Big Mom's ship, and we get to see Sanji. So this chapter technically marks the beginning of the year of Sanji. I didn't see Capone anywhere in this chapter. I only got to see Tamago and Vito. That being said, there are some warning frequencies that are being transmitted through the Dendenmushi for people to stay away. So if you're a pirate ship and you're coming in, you're probably going to get a warning, approaching Whole Cake Island, you must turn back. If you don't, you're going to get blown to smithereens, unless you are affiliated with Big Mom's crew. So what I'm guessing is going to happen is that the Sunny or the Straw Hats are going to be able to cross the border because they have Peckham's with them. But then again, Peckham's kind of did betray his assignment, so I don't know how that's going to work out necessarily. But Tamago is actually talking to Sanji and actually kind of convincing him to join Big Mom, because he's like, oh, by the way, like, Big Mom really respects you. Like, I think she knows that you're a really good cook. You should join us, man. And Sanji's like, nope, I'm just here to talk. I would never join, like, people like you. I just saw one of your guys, like, shoot somebody else in the back. I really like how everything is candy or dessert themed in Whole Cake Island. We have, like, Tart 28, which is, that's how, like, little hut there that we see. And I also like how Tamago just incorporates French into his speech patterns at times. S'il vous plaît, monsieur l'ami. Find out that Sanji has cut all ties with his father, which is why he never mentioned it before. I kind of get the feeling that his father used to abuse, like physically abuse his mom. And that's why, Sanji just made the commitment to never fight women. Finally, we get the big reveal of who Pudding actually is. And it's in fact the three-eyed girl, except we don't get to see her third eye because it's being covered by her bangs. Which I find interesting because Sanji uses his bangs to cover up, one of his eyebrows. So that's kind of cool. I personally wanted it to be Bonnie, but, it just wasn't. And, out of all the options, I think this one's the one that I saw floating around the most, because it just made sense that we got a shot of her back in Fishman Island. So it kind of makes sense that it's her. Do you think she's going to join the crew? Sanji is automatically, he's like, hard eyes popping out of his sockets and everything. I think he would have absolutely no problem marrying this girl, three eyes or not. I don't think Sanji cares about that at all. And Zoro actually foreshadowed this when he's like, yeah, it wouldn't be surprising if, like, this idiot, just went ahead with the engagement. Thank you so much for watching. I thought this was an amazing chapter of One Piece. Like the video if you did. I appreciate that. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and comment down below with your theories and thoughts. Thanks.